All right, so these podcast appearances that Brendan Schaub has been making just keep getting better and better. I thought him on Joe Rogan the other day had some really funny moments, and then him on Impulsive was pretty funny as well. But this one with Andrew Schulz on Flagrant 2, this has got to be some of the best Brendan Schaub content so far. And I respect Andrew Schulz a lot more after watching this because he's not afraid to ask Brendan difficult questions. And he was finally the one to confront Brendan about the infamous truck walk. And of course, Brendan got insanely uncomfortable here. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a female comedian that accused Brendan of asking her to walk back to his car with him and maybe do him a favor, if you know what I mean. And also, Bobby Lee's girlfriend said that Brendan was a little too friendly with her as well. So this is the kind of stuff that people want to hear Brendan talk about. But of course, he does not want to talk about it at all, even though it would make his show a lot more interesting because this is some good drama here. And I'm sure it's a lot more interesting than anything else Brendan talks about on his podcast. And people are waiting to hear about this. And I don't know why he doesn't want to talk about it because it's not like this is something that's really bad that's going to ruin his career or anything like that. This isn't Chris D'Elia level stuff. This is just some good internet drama. Like if these two had a back and forth going on, like if Brendan responded to the accusations right away and then they responded to him and they had like a back and forth going on, people would eat this up. But I don't think Brendan really wants to turn his career into a soap show, as he likes to call it.
You know, it's like a fucking soap show. They want this drama.
It's funny that he doesn't want any drama and he's not into it. But this is like one of the only reasons people are interested in him. People just love to see like how he's interacting with other people and who he's beefing with and like what's going on in his personal life. That's like the most interesting thing about him. Like he should have a reality show or something. I think that would do pretty well on the Thick Boy Network. All right, so let's get into this podcast and check it out. This is when Andrew asked Brendan about the whole truck walk. But before we get into it, I want to shout out the Fighter and the Kid subreddit for getting most of these clips together. So that subreddit, check it out. It's like one of the best subreddits on Reddit. And also, I'd like to thank Brendan Schaub because this dude, he provides a lot of entertainment.
What's with the Trash Tuesday beef? When are we going to settle the Trash Tuesday beef?
It's settled as far as,
Did you try to wog Annie Letterman to your truck?
No, it doesn't make sense. No. It doesn't make sense. No.
Okay, so then follow up.
See, this is like one of the greatest moments in podcast history right here. This shit is so funny. And I'm so glad these guys had the balls to ask him this. And he's probably so caught off guard because I'm sure most of the people around him know that they should never bring this up. And I love his response here. He's just like stammering and stumbling over his words. And he just says that doesn't make sense.
Why does it not make sense? Why does that make sense?
It's her perspective, and I get it.
Perspective.
For it to get back to me, it has to get out of control. I have nothing but love for her. You know,
Really?
I have no idea, what her issue is, anything like that. That's fine. That's her narrative, and that's how she feels. All good. I get it.
Yeah.
As far as Kalila goes, me and her had a long conversation on the phone. Me and
Right.
her are good, man.
Yeah.
No one's suing anybody.
That's what I needed to ask. That's what I needed to ask.
No. These narratives online, it's like a fucking soap show. They want this drama. There's no drama. Like Bobby Lee is one of my close friends.
So if there's no drama, then why wouldn't you just address it right away so people on the internet can't really run with it? Like if you're really close to these people and you have no problem with them, then why don't you have them on the podcast and you guys could just squash the beef there and you could be like, oh, it's a misunderstanding, or you could apologize, or she could admit that she was joking or something. Like that'd be so much easier. But instead, Brendan handled this like the worst way possible with all the lawsuit stuff and just him not addressing it at all. And now he's just acting like he's cool with these people and he has no problem and it's all just a miscommunication. It just doesn't really add up because if that was true, wouldn't he just want to end all the internet drama by having them on or having them address it or something? I don't know. It's just really hard for me to buy what he's saying here. But let's continue on and see what he has to say.
No issues. As far as suing goes, I think it's a miscommunication.
Did you see the clip that they put out? It looked like they were very angry.
Yeah.
Again, and I told her, always come to me.
Yeah.
If you want to know, come to me.
Yeah.
Don't.
And they
don't
said that
reach-
you had like some dirt on her or something like that.
I have no dirt. I don't know.
So
like,
where-
me and her
they're
don't know each other that well.
They're making this up or what?
Yeah, but when it comes to Kalila, it's like I don't know. Again, I don't subscribe to social media. So if she's getting that news
Yeah.
and she subscribes to it, I would be upset too, and that's why I told her. See, I'm like, I get it. So me and her straight up had a conversation. And that's how adults do it, dude.
But see, this is the problem with you being like so detached from anything that happens online is you don't get to correct narratives about you in real time. Like, this is probably the first time you've ever addressed what they said.
Well, who else is gonna?
You
address
have 14 different.
This is just the best. I love that Brendan's like, oh well, who else is gonna address it? That's the point Andrew's trying to make here. If somebody accuses you of something and it's not true, but a lot of people think it's true, then you should probably address it and make sure that it doesn't go any further. Because just like you said, who else is going to address it? Man, Andrew really did his homework with this guest. I have so much more respect for him now. It's crazy. Like, this is the shit that I want to hear. This is good podcasting right here. Like, this is so much more entertaining than Brendan and Chris D'Elia and Brian Callen sitting around talking about bullshit. Like, this is the kind of stuff that they should be talking about. And internet drama gets views. Like, if Andrew Schulz titled this podcast confronting Brendan Schaub about the lawsuit or the truck walk or whatever you want to call it, people would be interested. Like, people want to watch this. And I'm sure already people are watching this because they heard that he confronted Brendan about this. But the funny thing is, he didn't even put Brendan in the title, and he didn't even put him in the thumbnail either. Like, when I went to look for this, I was confused. I'm like, oh, where's Brendan? Like, I can't see him as a guest. But then, of course, he put him on the podcast at the top that says Joe Biden roast. He's got Joe Biden in the thumbnail instead of Brendan Schaub. That's hilarious. And then also I saw a comment on his video. I think the first comment, the most liked comment, says, hiding Brendan from the title and the thumbnail so people still click. Schulz really is a good businessman, as people say. But you know what? I think I might disagree with this. If he put Brendan in the thumbnail and titled it, like I said earlier, like something about the lawsuit or him walking to the truck or something like that, people would have been so excited for that. Like, the people on the Fight and the Kids subreddit would have loved that. I mean, they love this anyways. But Brendan Schaub, he's good clickbait. I mean, look at my videos. My videos are doing well talking about him. And I do want to give him some credit because I think he is a lot funnier just on a podcast, like just shooting the shit with his friends. I don't think it's as bad as his stand-up. And then also moments like this are just hilarious, where he's not really trying to be funny, but just this whole interaction and him being really uncomfortable. Like, this is good content right here. So you got to give Brendan some credit for this.
15 different platforms. You could just go on and be like, yo, that's wild. That's not true. I'm not saying anything. There's no lawsuit. I called her up and squashed everything's good. Instead of they put it out there and then never address what is out there. And now everybody just believes what has been said by them is real.
Yeah, you could do that, or I can just call Kalila direct like I did.
No, then it's squashed between you two. But the people that have seen it haven't seen it get squashed. So they just believe that thing that they've digested is still real.
Sure. And that comes with, celebrity and all that shit. So it's like with that, like, some stuff you don't have to tell the public. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and Kalila are cool. Bobby's one of my closest friends, man. Yeah. So it's like with that stuff, and you got to realize when I was coming to comedy, and again, I get all of it.
No, it sounds like you don't get it at all. Like, he's trying to explain to you what you did wrong here and like how you should have handled it. But you just don't get it at all. Like, you're still saying, oh no, why would I tell my audience? Like, why would I explain things? I just talked to her on the phone and we're good. But the perception is still that you did these things. Like, maybe you did talk to her on the phone and everything's cool now and there's a miscommunication and you really weren't trying to do anything like this. But the internet, they still just see like them talking about you and saying all these things about you and talking about a lawsuit, and that's all they think. And now that's all they believe. Like, this isn't going to change anybody's minds. This is only going to reinforce things. All right, so there's just a few more things that I want to talk about from this podcast. And one of them is when they bring up Brendan's first special, his Showtime special. And Andrew says that he wanted to see his newest one because he wanted to make sure it wasn't like the Showtime special all over again. And he wanted to make sure that he at least saw an improvement.
So I was like, okay, I got to see this shit because I didn't want you to get into the same situation what happened with the Showtime one.
Sure.
So I was like, I got to see it. And as long as I saw improvement, that's what mattered the most to me.
Correct.
And we were talking about this before, but for me, you're in this really precarious situation because it's like, first of all, how do you feel about the Showtime special? We spoke about the
Showtime special.
Yeah.
In hindsight, like I wouldn't change anything. Like, this is my path, right? Like that
not like that.
I'm with you. I know where you're going with it. in hindsight, I wouldn't change it because it led me here, and the stuff I learned from that special to everything.
I don't know why he has so much trouble just admitting that it was bad. Like, who the hell cares? And a lot of people defend him. They're like, he was only a couple years into it, whatever. All right, so why can't you just admit that it's bad? If you're only a couple years into stand-up, then it's probably going to be bad anyways, so why not just admit it? So also right here, Brendan goes on to talk about how he wishes somebody would have told him with the first special maybe to wait a little or like not to do it, which I don't know if it is true or not. Like, if that's true, then his friends... I mean, at some point, if you're good friends with this guy, you should be like, listen, dude, you're just going to embarrass yourself up there. Like, sometimes encouraging your friends too much is not a good thing. And also, I think he might just be saying this because when he was on Rogan's podcast a few days ago, Joe said that he wishes he told Brendan to maybe wait with the special or just not to do it.
I wish I had someone with the perspective I have now that goes, whoa, dude. You've been doing 2 years?
Yeah.
What the fuck you thinking?
Did nobody tell you that?
You should do it to 10 until you're 10 years in.
Did nobody say that to you?
No, not really, because I think, I don't know. You know, I don't know. No one told me.
Nobody was like, yo, let me watch it or let me just, hey, man, it takes fucking, you can't cheat this game. It takes fucking years to get to the point where you can do this.
Callan a little bit told me that, and Dalia a little bit, but it was more like, but if they're paying you, why you have an hour? Like, why not? You know, but I wish I had someone in my ear being like, dude, it's this comedy game. It's a marathon, not a race.
Yeah.
10 years in before you start finding your voice. 10 years in.
Yeah.
No matter how many sets you're getting, it's 10 years in.
Yeah.
So is Brendan even 10 years in now? I honestly don't even know when his comedy career started. Maybe he is, but I didn't think it's been that long. I don't know. I could be wrong. All right. So this next part is just kind of sad because Brendan says that his newest special, he's like, I put in the time, I put in the work. This is the best I got. This is the best I can do. But at least at the end of the clip here, he does make Andrew and his co-host laugh pretty hard. So when he's on a podcast, I think he can make people laugh a little bit. I mean, he's probably funnier than like Brian Callen or somebody like that.
You grow, you put in the work, you put in the time. And that's why with this special on YouTube, the Gringo Poppy, like, telling you, man, put in the work.
Yes.
Put in the work.
Yes.
There's only so much I can do, and it's the best I can do, brother.
Yeah.
It's the best I can do.
Yeah.
And for what I do, it's pretty good for doing this short amount of time compared to 10 years or however long you've been doing it, 15 and 40.
15, yeah.
So it's like...
Yeah, so if that comedy special was the best that Brendan can do, I think it's time to give it up. But I don't really care either way. I mean, I like when he puts out a special because then we get him making all these appearances on podcasts and we get classic moments like this. I got one more that we're going to check out here where Brendan talks about how he listens to Andrew's podcast, Flagrant 2, like he's a religious listener. But then also at the same time, he doesn't even know one of the segments they do on the show that apparently they do every show.
Something on this show called Feelings No Facts. Feelings No Facts.
Okay. And I haven't heard you guys do that, but this is, you know, I'm busy like you guys are, so I listen to a few podcasts. Mm-hmm. This is one of the only shows I listen to religiously.
Oh,
This is the only shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we do Feelings No
I
Facts
think
every
you're
episode.
fucking brilliant.
Oh, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Andrew even says at the end there that they do this segment every show. So if Brendan was listening to every show, or even just like, I'd say half of them or a quarter of them, he should probably know this segment. But like I said, this is just a classic Schaub moment, and this is what the people want to hear. This is what the people love. So that's about it for this video. We'll see if Brendan's making any other appearances because he just seems to one-up himself with every appearance. Like the Logan Paul appearance, that was great. The Joe Rogan one was even better. And now this one, this is the best by far. Alright, so I think that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about all this. Then hit the like button. Then hit the subscribe button. And I'll catch you at the next video.